There's like, the road is missing.
Yeah. So friends of ours in Indiana invited us to come and watch a sick burnout in an old two-stroke Detroit. And well, we couldn't turn down a road trip for that, but we figured while we were there, we would pick up a 6.4 Hemi for our Wagoneer and seats for it as well. Because you know what? Half the fun of an old project is sourcing all the parts, hopping in a truck with your buddies and going for a cruise and seeing what there is to see out in the great North America. And to help us pay for our project, this video is sponsored by AutoBidMaster.com. Let's get into it. Here we go.
Am I stuck in a time machine? I've never been where I'd like to be. Real love might be beautiful. How would I try to walk to the deep end? All it takes is a little spark. I'm sick and tired having to pretend. The forest fire that will break your heart.
It's a nice find.
Yeah?
I know one thing we haven't done.
What's that?
Hemi.
We haven't done a Hemi swap.
There we go.
Oh, it's not even attached.
This is meant for the LS, and Paulie makes it so you can cut this off and bolt a Hemi bell housing to it. All right, so if you guys have been following us, you know we bought a Wagoneer. At the end of the video, I said, you know what, I'd really like a 6.4 for this thing, Gen 3 Hemi. And Daniel reached out and said, hey, you know what, I got a core, something wrong with it, a bunch of head bolts missing. I bought it for something way back. I'm not doing anything with it. Take it. So here we are in a parking lot. There's Daniel. And we're gonna take home a 6.4 Hemi. How's it going, man? What is this?
It's Chrysler.
It's a
6.4 Hemi out of a 2015.
But you think the tax is 2018, so this is already that truck's second engine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now it's got a third one.
All right, so we're fortunate enough to have a YouTube channel and a community that wants to see us finish our projects. And we're willing to drive to different countries and multiple different states to pick up random parts and hang out with random people, but sometimes that just doesn't make sense. And that's where AutoBidMaster comes in, because everything's all in one convenient little place. They are an official authorized Copart broker, giving you access to all the auctions in every state, where you can find what you need to finish your project. They have a really good search function. You can narrow it down to specific year, make, and model, engine, transmission, drive lines. It'll tell you if it's running, whether there's any issues with it, to be able to make sure that you're buying a clear VIN. When you bid on a specific vehicle, it'll actually give you a shipping quote already, and you can factor that into your quote on the vehicle before you even bid. And if you're in the States, they'll ship a vehicle from anywhere in the world to your door. If you're in Canada, we're able to get them to ship close enough to the border. We can take care of the last of the paperwork of bringing it across, and that way we have exactly what we need. There's 4 different tier memberships on AutoBidMaster.com, and figuring out which one is right for you really depends on how much your wife loves you. If she really loves you, she's gonna happily sacrifice her parking space for another project. And you can tell her you get $50 off by using our promo code to any of those levels. That's either money towards a nice dinner out to make her happy, or help pay for the divorce lawyer and get her to move all of her half of the stuff out and leave much more room for projects and car parts. So head over to AutoBidMaster.com, use our code, get the money off, and get your projects rolling down the road. Here we go.
The one I know is a buddy's dad's, and truck was built on a Monday, had all kinds of problems. Looking at the tag that's on the other side, it looks like this is a replacement engine, some Mopar parts tag. I guess it had a pretty major oil leak, and they kept running oil, or have to add oil to it, and they ran low on oil, so they shut it down and put oil in it. Then pretty quickly after that, blew a head gasket
On the left side.
Yeah,
driver's side.
driver head gasket, and then they took it to a shop down in Georgia, and they just said, "Oh, you need an engine."
Well, that's encouraging then still, because I don't think the oil pan's been off, because the gasket's back on it again. Definitely water in the oil, so that's not good. Definitely head gasket. Hopefully the rods and mains are okay. We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thank
it. All right, so this thing's been leaking in the back of the truck, and it's all milky, but it's coming out of my water jet. So that means that oil went inside the coolant. Now let's see if coolant got inside the oil. So this looks fairly clean, and the oil still looks like oil. So that's really interesting. What we know is that oil pressure runs from say 20 to 55 PSI, somewhere around there. Your cooling system only runs at about 15 PSI. So the only thing that connects the two, generally a head gasket doesn't go between an oil pressure galley and a cooling jacket. It generally goes between cooling and compression. So the only thing that connects the coolant and the oil is the oil cooler. So if the engine's running, it's pumping oil into the coolant, which would mean that they are losing all of their oil because they pumped it all into the cooling system. The only thing is when you shut your car off, now you have zero oil pressure and your cooling system is still pressurized. But I'm thinking that this is probably such thicky, sludgy stuff that it started running hot, it overheated, and then they shut her down. So we might be able to get away with a head gasket on this side because they pulled this head, I believe, out of the other head because the head bolt's missing. And we might be able to oil cooler and not have to rebuild anything and pop her in. That'd be pretty cool. But it'll be interesting to see if there's still oil in this, and I send that out for an oil analysis just to see what kind of metal and stuff is in there. There's no point in doing an oil analysis on this. They're like, yeah, that's
we know it.
But if the oil's still kind of clean, then that's a good find.
Yeah.
We'll pull a couple caps, make sure that the bearings are fine, and then vroom vroom. Nice. All right, so we're in the backyard in Ohio somewhere with Joe. Thank you very much, Joe. We made the video on the Wagoneer, and he noticed we didn't have any seats, and he used to have some Wagoneers. They're all gone now, but you still have the interior that we need?
The kid never came to get the last one, so I never gave him the extra seats.
Oh, sorry, kid, you missed out, but we're taking your seats. Right on. Oh, a little dusty, a little dirty, that's okay. Nice, that's exactly what we need.
I'm saying mint.
I'm saying mint. A good clean.
Door seals come free.
Nice, and the power's there. Nice. Very cool. So we'll take good care of these. These will have a really good home. But
They have not been in the sun.
we gotta leave them dirty so that they look good for the border.
Yep. They should match. They should fit.
Yeah.
Came out of one.
Yeah. All right, so we got this transmission. We don't know anything about it. We do know that it has this big crack because it was dropped. And this is meant for the LS, and because we're going with a Hemi, Holly makes it so you can cut this off and bolt a Hemi bell housing to it. So what we're gonna do is get the young guy. We're gonna have a little bit of a lip. So you're not gonna cut obviously into the transmission. We have to cut right there.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And if I had to guess, it'd be somewhere around here. But what you're gonna do is drill, and then you're gonna scribe a line from the outside, and then you're gonna take a grinder disc. You're just gonna take your time and just cut this right off, and then we'll sand this down and paint it. It'll be like a rebuild. It's a fresh rebuild. Right on. Yeah, I think we'll just stick to the front of the pan, right?
Yeah, like that.
Yeah, the thing mounts to all of these bolts.
Okay.
So just, yeah, nice and straight across the front, and then we'll cut it back just a hair, but as long as it's behind this lip, we'll stop there.
Okay, so I got that end taped off. I got this end taped off because there has to be a gasket there. Now we're just gonna tape off little stuff like this, this, and this. And there's one hole right here I should tape off too, right here. Everything's ready for it, paint. But first we gotta wire wheel it. now that's all wire wheeled down. It's ready for paint. And at the same time, we're gonna hang this up on the forklift and we're going to paint that same color as this. Do it properly the first time and you won't regret it. We're going to be using the trim clad. It works pretty well because it dries really fast. So when you get both coats of primer on there, then you put one thin coat of whatever you're gonna use for the primary color. We're going with gloss aluminum. You don't need too much, it's a thin coat. Yeah, fresh rebuild. All right, yeah, so you're gonna let that sit for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, then you're gonna put your thick coat on there, and if it needs another coat, wait another 5-10 minutes and throw another coat on it. And there's your final product. So the time and effort you want to put into something to make it look like this. I mean, that just looks sharp, man. That looks really good.
All right, so that doesn't look bad.
No, I don't see any shaving.
No shavings?
I don't think so.
Doesn't smell burnt. What does it taste like? It's pretty well empty then.
Yeah, it didn't have too much in it.
Nice. All right. Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe it's still good. Maybe it was worth painting. Maybe it was the paint that did it.
Saving all this money on buying new. Turn the heat on for once. Be sweet.
Baxter's still complaining it's too cold in the shop. I'm like sweating. He's always complaining.
The magnet doesn't have anything on it.
No.
Bit of grime in there, but
I think it is legitimately, it might actually be a rebuild.
no, look at this seal. Like the seal is not aged, so like it's not cracking or.
Yeah, so either somebody just replaced the filter and the oil
And the seal.
and the seal. It was in the back of the Gator. One night it was raining,
Oh,
so I think it
yeah.
got a little bit of water in it.
Definitely.
But we won't do that anymore.
Well, yeah, you thought it was a junk trans, so it makes sense.
I'm expecting the worst and hoping for the best. We'll put a new filter and a new gasket on anyway.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like $20, man.
Oh, okay.
It's like 6 hours of your wages. And then we can attach that to it and we're all set. All right, so we got the Spline Cleaner 3000 here.
Oh shit.
I'm just gonna stick that in there.
It's getting real.
She's a bit rusty. There we go. So, just the way most of Baxter's dates end, it's not what we were hoping for.
It's not working out.
It's not working out. We just assumed, you know, we bought these together, but apparently these were never mated together, which I thought about why would they separate this? He blew up his engine. Why would he do this? But yeah, we need to.
Yeah, so the splines are a different size. This one's bigger than this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we might be able to pop this out and replace this section. It's not what we hoped it would be. All right, so we got the Hemi on the stand. Looks nice and clean. I just washed it off quick, but I just gotta pull this head off and make sure that there is nothing seriously wrong, and just pull the pan and check the rod bearings before we get too far. And then I can order parts, because I think it's just a cooler, head gasket, and oil pan gasket, maybe oil pan. And this thing is just about ready to go. Okay, so I see a little mark down in here, and I can feel that. Let's see if we can, that's the only spot though. You can take an oil analysis of it, see if there's any metal or anything in that oil. See if there's one, if there's oil in it, two, what color that oil is, and three, how bad it is. That's disappointing. Well, I don't think there's worth doing an oil analysis on that. We'll just look at the bearings. But she's a complete rebuild. Well, maybe we'll take a sample anyway. There'll definitely be coolant in there, but we'll see if there's any brass, aluminum, steel in there. That'll tell us a lot more. Okay, so all of this looks brand new, except for the milking oil, obviously. So, now comes the scary part, pulling a rod cap and seeing what those bearings look like. And look at that. Oh, that looks brand new. I think we just need to clean it up. And I think we're actually in really good shape. All right, so we tore the entire engine down. Now we made a specific video for everything wrong with the 6.4. We've done a series of those, and not to harp on these engines, it's just the small little things that are wrong with it and how to fix it, but that's coming up shortly. We did realize that this engine is savable with a lot of work, so we've ordered a pile of parts. We're working with Holley Performance, and we're also working with Comp Cams to get rid of that lifter issue with the MDS. In the meantime, who can have a Jeep without it being four-wheel drive? But we ended up with a transfer case that has a 27 spline, but the transmission is a 32. So we're gonna send Baxter and Andy out to try and find the proper transfer case. If not, we'll have to find a new input shaft for this transfer case, which will be a whole other thing on its own. Here we go.
No way, man. You got the coolest shit here. Oh, that's pretty worn, man. I think we should get it running. Made in Canada.
What?
Yeah.
Nothing's made in Canada.
Holy frick. Any 4L80s kicking around here?
Used to. What's that one there? Isn't that a 4L80? Oh, it's got a hole in it.
Yeah.
She's toast.
It says Brog Warner on it. CL3A.
2012 to 2014 F-150.
No, preferred. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 24, 25, 26, 27. Only 27. It won't work. We need 32. Yeah. We'll figure it out.
So we're on the transfer case. We've got our new input shaft. Where is that, Baxter?
Input shaft?
Yeah, so this is the input shaft to the transfer case.
Yep.
Where's the new one?
That's the new one.
That is not the new one.
No?
Does this look new? You were gonna put the old one back in?
I don't know.
Is it on the transmission?
Oh, it's on the transmission.
Yeah. Let's just, here,
Oh,
let's just fix that. This is the new input shaft
good thing
with the
you caught
32 spline. Yeah, so he's gonna take it apart, put it back together again. Took lots of pictures on his phone. Ah, the friggin' internet, look at this. Everything is the same, it looks the same, the teeth are the same, except if you look really closely, the teeth on the new one are slightly wider than the old one, and now it doesn't fit in there. So if you guys have any solutions as to, like, you guys ran into this before, I gotta look at my part numbers again to see what I ordered. Our options are take this input shaft with the 32 teeth and weld it on to this gear for the planetary, but that Hemi is going to absolutely shred that, so that's a bad option. Try to find another input shaft, that's the number that I came up with, or get the matching planetary for it, use the planetary that matches the new input shaft. While we look into that, we got our bell housing from Holley, and since Baxter already rebuilt this transmission with a can of paint, he's ready to put the bell housing on there, and then at least the transmission's done, and then we'll worry about the transfer case.
Doesn't seem like there's much in there left, but I'm gonna hit it with the vacuum and double check. Clean off the rag real quick and it should be ready for the bell housing.
All right, so even though this is a Dodge project, we are using a 4L80 for a couple reasons. One, it came with the 4L80 and the drive shafts were already made for this. So if we bolt the transmission back in the same place, we can save the cost on the drive shafts, which is pretty significant. Now we would use a transmission that already bolts up to a Hemi, but unfortunately there's no standalone controllers out there on the market as of now that can reliably control that transmission. So we're using the 4L80 and using Holley's adapter bell housing, which is super simple to install. No special tools, a little bit of silicone, and it has the proper spacing for it already. And we'll use a US shift controller like we did on the Tahoe, the Silverado, and the Bronco to get these transmissions to shift.
So what we want to do here is check this gap, make sure we can't see anything. As you can see, it gets wider right here. If you're gonna mark it, we're gonna cut a little bit off right there. Has the same problem right here. All right, it's good now. And to finish it off, we're going to torque it to 20 foot-pounds. We're going to do like a crisscross formation.
Okay, so unfortunately, not everything's together, but that's the way it goes. It's a puzzle without the puzzle lid. We have a bunch of pieces that we don't even belong to that puzzle. And somehow we gotta like stamp them in there and make them work. The bell housing fits like a glove. The nice thing is that the starter goes on either side too, which is really handy. So it makes it more universal for whatever you're doing. We got a torque converter for it upstairs. And, but we could use your help with that NP241C input shaft. We need that planetary gear set or that input shaft with the smaller gears on it. I'm sure if you guys know what I'm talking about, you know where to get it. And just shoot us an email at thebossgarage@gmail.com, and we'd love to be able to bolt this thing up. We're gonna pull the body off of the Wagoneer once the Land Cruiser's off the hoist, and then we're basically gonna put the whole drive line together with the body off. Maybe we'll paint the body. I may have bought a paint booth. We might be getting a newer shop. Lots of stuff is happening, but you'll have to see all of that in upcoming episodes. The LC's got a pile of work done to it. We're shipping that out to BC, and then we're carrying on with the Ram as well, but there's a whole bunch of stuff happening all at the same time. So Baxter, you still have a job tomorrow. Your paint job looks fantastic, even though you never finish what you start.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But you still have a job tomorrow. So remember, if you're not filthy, you're not rich. Get out there and work on it yourself, because if you hire somebody else, you just it's rich, this doesn't fit, doesn't work, and then it doesn't get.
It's not my fault you're buying the wrong parts all the time.